Hello everyone, Corey Shaw, Windish RV General Manager, here today with Eric Obregon from Grand Design Reflection. We're going to ask Eric a couple questions that you, our customers, have asked, and we'll try to get these answers from him. Welcome, Eric. Glad to see you.
Glad to see you.
It's pretty cold out there. You've got some snow.
Yeah, got a lot of snow. Working from home today.
Nice. I see we're a Notre Dame fan.
Yeah, big time.
All right, well, awesome. Well, Eric, these questions came from our YouTube page, came from some customers on the lot. So I'm going to fire some of these things out and see what the responses are, okay?
All right.
All right, so first of all, the first question that we have is, does the Reflection come with generator prep?
Great question. No, the Reflections do not come with generator prep. What a lot of our customers end up doing is purchasing a couple 2,000 watt, whatever fits their need the best, portable generators, and work it that way. We do have what we call our Big Brother and our Solitude. Those, it's more full profile unit geared towards more your full-time living, things like that. Those are geared and ready for generator prep. However, the Reflections will not come generator prep.
So we as a dealer, though, we can actually install like a 4K own-in that front storage compartment. It's not something that you guys do, but we on the dealer level can take care of that for the customers as well.
That's correct. That would all be aftermarket related. Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, question number 2 would be, what is Compass Connect?
Yep. So it's a new Bluetooth app that we've worked with Lippert on. It is exclusive to Grand Design, and I'll kind of get into why it's exclusive to Grand Design. There are other versions out there in the industry right now that a lot of our competitors use. It's a more basic platform. So it's really going to do what I'm going to talk about initially. And then once I get into a little bit more depth about what Compass Connect does for us, that's really what separates us from the competition. So the Compass Connect is a screen display that's going to come in your pass-through on the off-door side next to your convenience center, where your water station is and all that good stuff. There's a couple different things with that. Obviously, that's going to be your leveling system. The manual version, for those of you that prefer to go the manual route, we still do have that version underneath the gooseneck in front of the unit. However, with this Compass Connect, it's going to allow you to do a few things. One, it's going to allow you to download an app that's exclusive to, again, Grand Design. You can find it on the App Store. It's going to allow you to control a few things. So your leveling, your awnings, your lights, and your slides. And then in addition to that, we've recently added the TPMS, which is your tire pressure monitoring system. You're also going to be able to monitor your tire pressure. So that's something, again, that can all be controlled through the touch of a button on your app on your phone. Again, if you want to do it manually, we do have redundant switches on the inside where you can do all that as well in terms of the awnings, the lights, and the slide boxes. But again, the leveling, again, you can do it through the phone or you can do it through the control screen, which is going to be on the off-door side of the unit. Now, again, that's going to be pretty standard to what you're going to find on another competitor unit and their own version of it. Where they stop and where we continue is what I'm going to get into now. So it's the Compass Connect is actually going to be linked to each individual unit. So there's a barcode that you're going to scan when you buy the unit. It's going to link that specific unit to your app on your phone. What's going to happen is if there's any issues with the unit, so let's just say a slide box isn't working, for example, it's going to actually send that information to the cloud that is kind of monitored by Grand Design / Lippert. And it's going to actually send you push notifications as to why your slide box might not be working. Now, a lot of the time it's going to be low voltage on your battery, probably something like that. But it's going to send remote diagnostics to your phone explaining why your slide's not working, different things like that. So currently the board reads roughly 300 different diagnostics in which if there is an issue, whether it's low voltage or anything like that, the customer will get a push notification explaining what that issue is. We're working on adding more, pertinent information, as far as things that typically happen to a customer when they're on the road, things that might break down often. They're going to be able to know and understand, why it's broken down and the remedy needed to get their unit up and running again.
Okay.
A lot of times it's going to save them phone calls, to customers, things like that, because these push notifications are going to come directly to the customer, where they should be able to be able to take care of the issue themselves.
Okay. So basically what you're saying with this is a customer has a smartphone. They have now a version of a smart trailer, but for those people who use a flip phone, they still have the ability just to run things by push of the button on the trailer. So if you want to get technical, you can get technical. If you want the simplicity of just pushing a button on the trailer, you still have that. So you have both versions with Grand Design.
That's correct. And we understand technology still scares a lot of people off. So again, we get that. And as you just mentioned, yes, we do have redundant switches where you can do everything I just mentioned manually as well.
Okay, perfect. All right, so the next question, real quick, going back to that, it is a standard feature. You don't have to option that particular.
That's correct. That's going to come standard on all Reflections.
Awesome. Okay, so the next question is the stable stance step. So what is that? I know it's a new option or a new feature, not option, new feature on the Reflection. Explain that to us just a little bit.
Okay, so on all your bigger Reflections, and what I mean by that is your 28 BH, your 31 MB, your 303 on up. So all your bigger Reflections are going to come standard, what we're calling the axis step, the stable step, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, it comes from Ori, the step. In the closed position, it's actually going to be closed inside the doorway. When you get to camp and you're ready to unfold those steps, you open your door, you lower it. It's got adjustable feet. The cool thing that we've done recently with the treads of the step treads is we've actually allowed some flexibility with those, so you can actually move them up and down. The reason why we've done that is because before they were just, same kind of step that I'm talking about, but they were fixed treads, so you couldn't fold them up. The disadvantage to that was if you wanted to get rid of dirt or anything that's, built up over time from your feet or, everything else, you would typically have to take a broom, wipe it off before you folded the steps up into your camper. Now you can do all that through the step treads that fold up. It kind of removes everything for you without having to worry about the broom. And it tucks away nicely inside the unit. Now, for those of you who prefer, the regular accordion style steps that traditionally come on campers, underneath the skirt metal, we do have the bracket there for that traditional step if you wanted to use that rather than what we call the axis step. Now, one other advantage to this axis step is before it was a permanent step. It was screwed into the floor. There was no way for you to remove it. Now for your customers, let's just say they're going to take it to a storage unit and their units are side by side and really close together. And they know that they're probably going to want to have access to that unit, down the road while it's in storage. There's a couple cotter pins on the bottom of the steps once it's folded up that you can remove. You can actually easily now remove the step from the unit, so you have easy access into the unit now.
It's an amazing technology that Grand Design is always on the forefront, which we love here at Windish. Okay, so something that has been going on since the whole COVID thing. Our business has increased. Obviously, yours has. But we have a question of a particular unit, which is why is the Reflection 311 BHS so hard to find?
It's a great question. In fact, I was just at a show this weekend and we sold 5 of them. So that's really going to be the short answer that I can give you. It's a heavily desired unit. It's our only bath and a half in our Reflection lineup. And a lot of customers looking for that extra bath and a half, separate, bunk area for the kids and extended family. That is the perfect camper. It is one of those things where we have to pick and choose our battles internally as well. So we can't build every single floor plan every single week. So it's one of those things as well. The demand for the 311 kind of exceeds the supply that we're able to build at this point. And so that's why it makes it tough. They are extremely limited on dealers' lots. In fact, I know you're still trying to play catch up on getting 311s into stock because we keep attaching names to them. But it's a desired floor plan because there's not a lot of manufacturers out there that build a ton of bath and a half. And so when you only have one in your lineup and it's a heavily desired floor plan, it's few and far between when you actually find a few in stock at any dealership.
Cool. Yeah, this whole thing with COVID, and again, we've been blessed as an industry that everybody has found a new way to travel across the country. What type of impact, though, has this had on you, the manufacturer, in the way of getting the trailers out here to us? You touched on it a little bit, but can you expand on that?
Yeah, it's actually been tough. So if you rewind back to March of 2020, the entire industry shut down, and we really had no idea which direction this industry was going to head. Well, what we found is people feel more comfortable and safe traveling by RV than plane, things like that. So the demand has far exceeded the supply, and it's been really hard for the manufacturers to keep up. It continues to be that way even today. Typically speaking, this time of year, because of seasonality, things like that, we've been able to catch up to a certain extent. But the demand continues to be there, continues to, drive our industry really. The issue that we're having right now has to do, it comes with part shortages. There's part shortages galore with different suppliers that we work with. I mean, I'm talking from fridges, ACs, water heaters. I mean, you name it. There's a supply shortage in the industry, which is making it really difficult for the manufacturers to keep up. So that, in addition to the demand that's out there, it has been an issue. Inventory has been lean across the board. So for you customers out there that are looking at certain floor plans, I would not wait, too long on making your decision to purchase one, because they're few and far between right now because of the demand and the shortages that we're dealing with from a manufacturer standpoint.
It's very true. It's a unique situation that we're going through in that regard, and us trying to tell customers, the sooner you can make this decision, the better for you. It's not a sales tactic for us. So we're really looking out for our customer base right now, making sure that they get to camp this summer. We have manufacturers who we're sold out of inventory until October of this year already. It's pretty amazing in that regard. Okay, so this next question, we'll wrap things up here, is going to kind of be a combined question for you. I'm going to make this difficult for you. So we in Colorado, obviously, we have cold temperatures during the winter. We have a lot of sun that can produce some power for us. And we have a lot of people here that are working from home, just like you are today. So it's kind of a three-parter. One, out here in our climate during the winter, is a Reflection rated to be able to handle, that freezing temperature, that 32 degrees without freezing up? With the amount of sun that we get out here, are we able to either order or on the dealer level do solar for you? And then number three, is there any internet access that we can get on the Reflection?
Yeah, all great questions. So let's start with the first one. One cool thing about Grand Design, all Grand Design units, from the Transcend all the way up to the Solitude, are geared for full-time living. So they're built in such a way that you can feel confident in going out, living in it full-time, and having the proper insulation, things like that. Now, what I always tell customers is, look, there's going to be some climates that are pretty severe, like we're dealing with today here in Indiana. We do always suggest that you take the extra precautions. And if you have heat lamps and you're going to be at a place for an extended period of time, make sure you put those underneath the unit. I'm not saying your tanks are going to freeze or things like that, but again, we always suggest just taking the safe route, take those extra precautions. But what I will say in terms of insulation, just so you guys have a better understanding, every single unit, again, at Grand Design has a fully enclosed underbelly, has insulation, has heated holding tanks. So we have the 12-volt heat pads on all the holding tanks. I mentioned, we have a heat duct that runs through the bottom of the underbelly as well, with distribution points around all your tanks. So again, you're going to have the proper ventilation and insulation down there to help maintain and keep those, water tanks from, freezing over, things like that. All our sidewalls, again, fully insulated. It's a high density block foam that we use versus the hung fiberglass batten insulation, which could potentially, you could lose some R value over time. the way that we run our insulation over the roof. Okay. So we do a double layer of insulation on a roof all the way down over the front cap and underneath the gooseneck. Okay. So you're fully insulated from rear to front, including the bedroom, which oftentimes it only has a single layer of insulation. And you guys know what I mean by that, especially for you veteran campers. You open that wardrobe closet, you feel the hot or cold air depending on the climate. So, not saying you're not going to experience it, but it's going to help minimize it the way that we insulate the front cap and underneath the gooseneck. So, yes, all units are geared towards, full-time living. You can rest confidently knowing that they are built and prepped for that specific use. But again, are any unit out there bulletproof and 100%, gonna be preventative of any type of freezing, things like that? No, not even a Grand Design unit. Okay, and that's why I just say, take the extra precautions, especially if you're going to be out there for an extended period of time. We always recommend, again, especially in Colorado, dealing with the climates that you use, skirting a unit, things like that to help, prevent any type of issues down the road. But we do go that extra mile to make sure that you guys are as fully insulated as possible, especially in the underbelly with those holding tanks, by the things I mentioned previously.
Okay.
Solar. Part 2 of your question. Yes, all reflections are prepped and wired for solar. Okay. We do run a 10 gauge wire on the fifth wheels, for example, down into the battery compartment, and then down near the A-frame of the travel trailers. We really leave the whole equipping the unit with solar up to the customer. Okay. Each individual customer, they're going to have various needs depending on the type of camping they're going to be doing, how much dry camping they do, that whole thing. And so we really leave it in the dealer and the customer's hand, for you guys to recommend, different packages, that you guys might offer. I will say Grand Design, we do have a good, better, best package that we do offer if you guys decide to go that route. But again, it's kind of one of those things where each individual need and use for the trailer is going to be different. And so we really leave it in the hands for, you as a dealership to make the best recommendation to the customer. In terms of the solar package, the different things needed. But, the one thing that Grand Design has done to help eliminate a lot of the extensive labor on the back end of the sale, is prepped and wired again for the solar. So, the battery, the wires for the battery, and then the solar panels that would go on the roof, everything's ready to go there. Now it's just determining, the proper packages that the customer would need.
In the good, better, best, that's not something that you guys install. It's a package that we can get as a dealer, order it from you, and then we can install it on the dealer level.
Yeah, sorry if I didn't clarify. So what comes from the factory is the 10 gauge wiring is already there, ready to go for the solar panel on the roof, and then for the connection to the batteries in the battery compartment. Outside of that, the solar panel, the inverter, all that good stuff, that would be purchased aftermarket through your local dealer.
Okay, perfect.
And then last question.
The last part to that question was someone working from their trailer of being able to have internet access. Is there anything that Grand Design offers in the Reflection for that?
Yes. So we do come prepped and wired for Wi-Fi. It's a WineGuard gateway router that you can purchase aftermarket. Okay. If you purchase the WineGuard version of it, it does come with a WineGuard SIM card, and essentially it's going to boost your Wi-Fi capability up to about 50 feet outside your camper. It's compatible with really any SIM card out there. So if you're a Verizon user, AT&T, whatever the case might be, there is a version of that particular adapter that you would need for the unit in for the Wi-Fi in our unit. And again, that can be done through you guys as well. So it is prepped and wired. It's just determining, what plan you want to go with, and then it's a plug and play device.
Okay. Again, I want to say thank you to you, Eric, or Obi, as we lovingly call him, for answering all of the questions that our customers have asked. Remember, if you have any additional questions, please reach out to either our Lakewood location or our Longmont location. And if you have more questions for Eric, feel free to reach out to us and we'll get you in touch with him. Thanks.